Welcome to the latest edition of the Hudson County Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Haig. And once again, the Hudson County Sports Podcast is brought to you by my special sponsors. Number one is Stand Sports Center, located at 528 Washington Street in Hoboken. The telephone number there is 201-798-4466. And then Strulowitz and Gargiulo's Twin Boro Physical Therapy with two locations, one in Jersey City, one Nardone Place. Telephone number there is 201-792-3840, and then also located at 1422 Grand Street, Suite 4C in Hoboken. Telephone number there is 201-963-8808. And with me today is a very, very special guest who I became very friendly with while he was coaching high school football at Lincoln High School here in Jersey City. But he then went on to have a storied career after he left Lincoln, and he went on to have a good career at Carteret and Elizabeth High School. And he's a Jersey City native, and it's my friend Jeff Weiner. Jeff, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm doing really great. Thanks so much for taking the time to be on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm really honored to be on your podcast.
Well deserved, pal. All right, so you grew up in Jersey City. Tell us a little bit about where you grew up and what was that like?
Grew up in College Towers. A lot of kids there at the time. All we did was play ball, play punch ball in the back, stick ball, tackle football in the grassy area. During the winter, we go up to 38 school. We used to call it day gym. Play basketball. You go home, change your clothes, go running back up to 38. It was great times. Went to 38 school. Tremendous school, tremendous teachers, tremendous administrators, tremendous kids. And that's where I met my gym teacher who had a whole lot of influence on me, Jim Piscator. If I had an idol, I would say he was one of them. He was just a commanding presence. He was the assistant baseball coach at Snyder with Jerry McKinney.
Okay.
And he had such a tremendous influence on me, the way he carried himself. I mean, I remember these teachers used to come in the morning. We'd line up in the court. We'd line up in front of the school, and he'd come in with a tie on, and just a man of respect, a man's man, I guess you would say.
Okay, that works. That definitely works. Okay, so did you know all along, growing up as a kid, that you wanted to have sports as part of your life?
No, I love sports, but I didn't think I wanted to be an attorney, to tell you the truth.
Is that true? Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I went to Snyder, and I played baseball and football there. I played for my first 2 years. Roy Corso was the coach, and then I got influenced by guys like Billy Sabers, and then Jimmy Gillett took over my last year, and he had a lot of influence on me. He just was a commanding presence also. I used to refer to him myself as the Iron Man. There was just something about him. He was a great line coach, and he was just somebody who was a nice guy, soft-spoken. I mean, he could turn it on and off like a light switch, but it was just something about him. You knew if you messed with this guy, it would knock your head off.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way it was. And these were the kind of guys that, I just gravitated towards these guys like Tommy Gallo. At Snyder was my homeroom teacher.
What a great man. Great man. Great man.
Great quarterback back in the day of Lincoln.
Yep.
Stories. I would sit in front of his desk, and we would talk ball and just talk about life. And I remember I'd see him down at the Hudson Mall. He worked in Rogers Clothes.
Yeah.
Just guys like that. You just gravitated towards them, He just said, man, I want to be like those guys.
Yeah, Tommy Gallo now lives in Lyndhurst, and I
know, yeah.
And I happen to run into him from time to time at the Stop and Shop in Lyndhurst. That's where and then we sit there and we talk football for a while. He's a great man.
He was a great guy. Guys like that, really influenced me. Jerry, Coach McKinney, and then I went to St. Peter's College.
All right, don't jump ahead so far.
Sorry,
all right, that's quite all right. So at an early age, you're at 38 school. Did you know at that time that you wanted to be involved in sports? That it had that much of an influence on you?
Well, I really, I knew I loved ball. I mean, I didn't play Little League I didn't play Little League or anything. Baseball was my favorite sport. And I remember I went out for college Little League back at the old Roosevelt Stadium. They used to call it the Annex.
Yep.
Back there. And I went out for Little League. I remember I was in center field, and the one of the coaches was hitting fly balls to me, and I wasn't good back then on gauging the fly ball. You know, you're supposed to run out. You know, you're supposed to run out before you run in, because they tell you it's easier to run in than it is to run out. And the ball kept going over my head. I remember the guy said to me, "You'll never make the team."
Oh, really?
I ejected, and I just left.
I didn't think there was such a thing. I didn't think they had cuts in Little League. You know?
Yeah, they had cuts back then.
No.
And you know, I used to play ball in the back, you know, college town with kids. And I started developing my skills a little bit. You know, we take the small league, play stick ball on Saturday night, because they wouldn't let you play ball back there during the day. The managing agent would come around, they'd fine you $5, $10 if they caught you. So Saturday night when nobody was around, we played fast pitch stick ball. And I sort of developed my skills a little bit. We used to try to hit it over the Light factory on West Side Avenue. And then, then we would choose up sides at school, and kids would come down and we'd play tackle. It was just a great time. I was playing with kids who went to Marist and things like that. It was a great time.
Okay. All right. And then at that time when you went to Snyder, was it racially integrated already by that point, or was it was it still predominantly white kids that went there?
Great mix of kids. When I was a freshman there, went to the first freshman football meeting. There were like 300 kids in the gym.
Wow.
I never forget. I mean, and back then, if you were 16 or older, you couldn't play freshman ball.
Right.
They either bring you up to varsity, and they had all these kids from Greenville, PA. I remember they were talking about all these great kids and whatnot. And Rich Glover was a senior. Paul Caliades.
Wow.
Running backs like Freddie Long and John High. I mean, I used to go to the games and watch these guys. Oh my God. Costanzo. He went to Nebraska.
Bucky Rainier.
Pardon me?
Bucky Rainier.
Nah, he was way before my time.
Oh, way before your time. Okay.
Bucky Rainier and Velasco were way before my time. Okay. I knew Velasco from Audubon Avenue.
Okay.
But, because I lived in College Towers, my friend knew him real well. Velasco was probably one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to come out of Jersey City. I mean, Lincoln had some great ones, not to get ahead of Eddie McMichael and all that. But, Velasco was a great, great player.
Okay.
And I went to Snyder, I played quarterback and kicked there, and played baseball. I was a catcher. I should have stayed with baseball, to tell you the truth.
Wow, okay.
Baseball.
All right, so then. All right, so now you after you graduated from Snyder, you said you went to St. Peter's College, and you still.
St. Peter's, I played football a year over there when I was a freshman. I hurt my knee. When you hurt your knee back then, it was a big deal.
And who was the coach at St. Peter's at that time? Was it still Marty O'Brien or was it Coviello?
Carlissimo.
Oh, okay. Vinny Carlissimo, yeah.
BJ's uncle or something.
He is, and he for the longest time he was the assistant coach with Ralph Borges. First.
Yeah, Ralph Borges and QP.
Yep, and Harrison. Both of them were together at Harrison. They were inseparable, those two.
Yeah. This is it. So I concentrated on school, started lifting weights big time, and things like that.
All right, Jeff. When did you start to realize that you wanted to become a coach? And did attorney become out of the?
I didn't do too well on it. I said, what? This isn't meant to be.
You took the LSATs?
I was a good student, but I wasn't good with the standardized tests. People are telling me you should take it again. I knew I wouldn't do well. I was a really good student, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't score well on standardized tests.
Okay.
I didn't score well on the SATs, and I said, I better go on to something else. So I went to Kane. I brought them my transcript. They evaluated it to see how long it would take. I said, I think I'm gonna go into teaching.
Okay.
First I thought, I said maybe special ed, because you probably remember a guy. Remember Brian O'Melia?
Sure.
Yeah, well, he lived in College Towers, and I used to see him walking around all the time, and we would talk. During the summer when I was working out for football in the parking lot, I used to kick and run and throw and all that stuff. I used to see him all the time, and we would talk a little bit. I think he was coaching at Dickinson then as an assistant.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Maybe with Frank Berger.
Yep.
Or maybe somebody before that.
Okay.
And then I got into phys. I said, I think I want to be a phys ed teacher.
Okay.
So I got my transcripts evaluated. It took me about a year and a half. I went day and night. And then I did student teaching at Bayonne.
Okay. And is that where you got into coaching? Was it Bayonne first?
Pardon me?
Is that where you got into coaching first at Bayonne?
No. What happened was I was at Bayonne. I was at grammar school in Bayonne, and I went to Bayonne High School, and I met John Manzi. Okay, that was Michael Venatolo's friend.
Okay.
And then he introduced me to Mike. Mike and me hit it off. And I went to Dick. I met Mike. Mike and I met, and he said to me, "Come up to my office the day after Christmas vacation." This was 1978 or 79. And he said to me, "You'll be a full-time sub up here at Dickinson in the gym." That's when I met Johnny Lisa. And I coached baseball at Ferris with Mr. Piscator. I was the JV coach, and we did really, really well. I went like something like 15-4.
Wow.
I learned a lot from him, and I'll never forget it. And I'm not bragging or anything. I'm not like that. But I remember he got thrown out of a game. He was a gentleman playing St. Mary's, and you know who the baseball coach at St. Mary's was at the time. Okay, they had the left-hander, I think Caulfield. Remember him?
Tommy, he's a very good friend of mine. Tommy Caulfield, very good friend.
Tommy Caulfield. I think he went to Eastern Illinois or something like that.
He went to Southern Illinois.
I had to take it over.
Oh, okay.
We beat him 3-2.
Wow.
Yeah, we beat him 3-2. And I said, man, this is fun, you know? Because I mean, when you're the JV coach, you're coaching first base, you're hitting fumbles, you're doing this, you're doing that, you know. But that one game I ran the show, and it was kind of fun.
All right.
And I met Johnny Lisa, who, I'll tell you the truth, was the greatest X's and O's guy, probably that I ever worked for. Well, Johnny was really the only guy I ever worked for. So anyway, I coached the freshmen at Dickinson my first year, and then I met Paul Garnes, and Paul was the secondary coach, and sort of like the rest is history.
Okay. So then how long did you stay at Dickinson for?
Well, I stayed at Dickinson. They brought me up the next year. I was coaching the quarterbacks. They had some great ones. They had Antonio Merritt. I don't know if you remember him.
Sure.
He was unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And Paul and I became really, really tight. And Johnny was a mastermind as far as football goes. He was a mastermind. I mean, a great secondary coach, but he would get up on the board, and you're a young man, and he would just dazzle you with X's and O's.
Okay.
And I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot about organization and just the way to do things. And Johnny was mild mannered. I know he was a great player. The whole family were great players in Hoboken.
Yep.
And I owe a lot to John. I owe a lot to Michael Venatolo too.
Okay.
And then I was teaching at 38 school, my old school. And then
so that must have been a thrill. That must have been a thrill for you, Jeff, right?
Summer I was getting married in 1983, and he said to me, Dickinson, the Lincoln AD job is going to be open. I want you to apply for it. And I said, I don't know if I want to do that. It's not like it is now, where you're a supervisor. And back then it was you had to teach the 4 classes. You had to take care of the everything, equipment, buses, travel. You had to put requisitions for everything. It was crazy. The stipend was that of a head coach. You don't do it for the money.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like now they're supervisors. Back then then you had to go across town and get a double signature on the checks. So I said to him, I don't know, I'm gonna lose a year coaching wise, learning. He goes, no, you'll be like a head coach in every sport, which you sort of are, but you're not. You're dealing with everything but strategy and things like that, organization. So I did that for a year, and then the next year I became the Lincoln coach.
Became the head coach of Lincoln, and what year is that? 85? 84. Okay. And what was?
84.
All right. And did you feel like you were ready?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I remember the first thing I did when I got the job, I said, we need a weight Belleville, and I bought 2 sets of Olympic weights, 2 benches, and 2 squat racks.
Okay.
And then we introduced the weight program, and I was replacing. They had some great coaches at Lincoln. There was some resentment when I came in there, no doubt. There was some resentment. I was getting a lot of funny looks, and
well, who did you replace? Franklin Walker?
Franklin Walker.
Yeah.
They had just won the state championship, the sectional 2 years prior to that.
Right.
And then they had an off season. They lost all those kids, and it was a rebuilding year. And I was getting a lot of looks. I got a lot of looks too when I became the AD.
Okay.
But that's the way it was, and I dealt with it. And remember, I lost first. I opened up Caven Point. We opened up against Snyder at Caven Point. First game, they were good. Ollie Jackson was the coach.
Right.
I always had I always had a ton of respect for him. Alex Franklin, they were great coaches.
Yep, good men.
Great guys, they really were.
Yep.
He never got his due, but he was a great coach. Rick Johnson, all those guys.
Okay.
So anyway, make a long story short, first play of the game, they run stop and go on us for 67 yards.
First play.
We're down 7-0. You can imagine what they're saying up in the stands. And we lost that game.
All right, how'd you do your first year?
Pardon me?
How'd you do your first year?
First year we were 4-5.
All right, so you were competitive.
Well, what I did was then we had to play. Johnny Lisa went to Marist.
Right.
If you remember.
Sure.
Then next Sunday night we played Johnny Lisa at Marist. He's running Veer. They beat us. Lost the third game, and now there's a lot of rumblings now. So what I did was I took all the seniors except for 4, and I cut them. And I said, we're going with young kids. We're going with young guys now.
Okay.
I said, we're going to lose young. And then things started turning around.
It certainly did. And you also, your talent level became incredible. And
we had some great kids up there. I mean, my first year up there, we had this kid, Michael Jackson. They called him Oatmeal. He could play anything. He was a great kid. And then after that, it started. So I had Bernie Parmalee, right? My first year, I had Bernie Parmalee.
Yep.
And he made a play I'll never forget. I mean, he was a great player. I didn't utilize him correctly then. You know what I mean? If I had him now, forget it. But I didn't utilize him correctly then. But he made an interception playing St. Joe's, West New York. Frank Gargiulo was the coach.
Yep.
Eugene Napoleon was the running back, I think. Remember him?
Absolutely.
Bobby, right? He was a great player too, West Virginia.
Yep.
Parmalee made a one-hand interception at the 3-yard line. Took it 97 yards to leap somebody at the 8-yard line. I remember it like it was an hour ago.
Wow.
And then the colleges started coming in. They started coming in. And he was like he had big glasses on. He was about 165 pounds. So people didn't give him much, they didn't give him much play.
Right.
And I took him to the naval. I said to him, best thing for you to do is go to prep school. He went to the Naval Academy prep school for a year, made like All-American, and then all the big schools wanted him. And he called me. I remember he called me. He goes, what do you think I should do? I said, if I were you, I said, I can't tell you where to go, but I'll tell you where not to go. I said, all these schools that are offering you, they're all good. He goes, I think I want to go to Ball State. I don't want to get caught up in the mix. Okay. Then he went to Ball State in Indiana, and
had a great career.
Yeah, I mean, he played for Parcells. He played for Don Shula. I mean, you can't get much better than that.
No, and he played in the NFL for about 9 years and more.
7 to 9 years. He was a third down back. Now he coached at Notre Dame with Weiss.
Yep.
Now he's the running back coach with the Jaguars.
Yeah, he's doing quite well.
And he had a cousin there, Tim Brown, who's a sophomore. I'll tell you what, probably a better player than him.
Really?
Oh yeah, his safety, hands like you couldn't believe. Had some really good quarterbacks at Lincoln. The first one was Bosco John Mays.
Okay, yeah, he was excellent.
Yeah, he was a really good excellent quarterback. And then Tony Perkins.
Yep.
He's a real big community activist now with Gadsden, the Lincoln principal.
Yep.
They're doing good. Gadsden was a student of mine at 38 school. But we had some great players over there. My regret is that we didn't win a section over there.
Okay.
Paul was the defensive coordinator. Never met a better defensive coach. We're friends to this day, 45 years later.
God bless.
He was at my house about 3 weeks ago. His grandson is the starting center at Lincoln now. Sophomore, he's about 6'2", 275. I worked with him a little bit on his long snapping. He's going to be a good one.
Beautiful.
He's going to be a good one.
All right. Well, we'll be back with more with Jeff Weiner after this word from our sponsor, Strulowitz and Gargiulo Physical Therapy, which has been caring for Hudson County for the last 40 years. With modern state-of-the-art offices in Jersey City, Bayonne, and Hoboken, you can count on Carl Gargiulo and his highly trained and experienced staff of physical and occupational therapists to help you recover from an injury, get post-operative care, or reduce your pain and help you get back to doing the things you love to do. From back pain to balance difficulties, sports injuries to joint replacements, Carl and his staff will help you regain movement, resume activities you love, and recapture your independence. Please feel free to call Carl Gargiulo directly at 201-792-3840 with any questions and visit their Hudson County offices in either Jersey City, Bayonne, or Hoboken, or the other 42 other Twin Boro Physical Therapy locations throughout New Jersey. To learn more about Twin Boro and physical therapy, please visit the website, which is twinboro.com. Strulowitz and Gargiulo, Twin Boro Physical Therapy, is an in-network provider accepting all major insurances, and not only are they a sponsor to the Hudson County Sports Podcast, but I'm also a patient and have been since 2013. I owe Carl Gargiulo my life. Without him, I wouldn't be able to get around. I lost use of both of my legs in 2013, and he rehabbed me back to where I can get around and walk and do things. So I owe a lot to Strulowitz and Gargiulo, and especially to Carl Gargiulo. What a wonderful man. So and I'm very happy that they're one of my sponsors. All right, we're back with my special guest, Jeff Weiner, and Jeff is just about ready to talk about him turning the tide at Lincoln High School and leading them back into prominence and winning city championships, correct? You won a couple of city championships?
Yeah, we won two of them. Let me tell you something, Jimmy. Not to get off the track, but back in the day, back there, you didn't have a bad coach in Jersey City, and you didn't have a bad coach in Hudson County. I mean, some of these guys that I went against, Joe Stinson, Eddie Stinson, the Snyder guys, Rick and Ollie and Alex Franklin, and down at Ferris, Joe Marcella, Harry Lerner.
Yep.
At Ferris, Craig Bean, who was a defensive mastermind. Lincoln, I was at Lincoln. I met
Dickinson.
All great coaches. The county had great coaches in Hudson County. You had Agresta. Jerry Caputo was one of the best I've ever gone against. Lupo at Union Hill and Carl Holbig.
Ascalise.
Tony Farnell. I used to scrimmage him every year when I was at Carteret. I mean, these guys were unbelievable. They were great coaches when you look back on it. They put their time in. They were prepared. Their kids played hard. They were fundamentally sound. You had to be on your game.
Vinny Ascalise.
I never played Vinny, but what are you gonna say?
Yeah.
I mean, he's the best. He was the best.
Yep.
Always treated me with a lot of respect. I would talk to him. Mike Rich. Would talk to those guys all the time at the fifth quarter clubs.
Yep.
And, they were great. But like I said, Joe Stinson, when he came back and ran that run and shoot, my God, you didn't know how to defend that.
No.
You get great kids. Those Hoboken kids, in a class by themselves as far as toughness goes.
Yeah, but Joey Stinson, though, I hated those games because I hated covering those games when he was the coach because you know why? They threw every single down, and the games were like 3 hours and 40 minutes long. It was like, oh God, please let this game be over with. I remember they got destroyed by Bergenfield in the state playoffs one year. I think it was 66-20 was the final score, and they were still throwing the ball every single down. And I'm like I was looking at him going, Joe, what are you doing? Let's get this game over with. And then and then he left. and his brother Eddie took over, and the rest is history. That Hoboken program became the model of success.
We played them on Friday afternoon my last year at Lincoln. We beat them 27-0.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, we beat them 27-0. Tony Perkins, Shelly Archie, remember him?
Absolutely. I was gonna get to that. He was the best running back in the county.
He's right up there. One of the best two-way players I ever had. Then there was a receiver. We had Glenn Garvin.
Yep.
The lineman, we had DeRoe Fowler. I don't know if you remember the little left-footed kicker. We had Jimmy DeWitt.
No.
I think they've had a kicker like that since he left. He went on to Mississippi Valley and kicked.
Wow.
Yeah, we had great players. That's my regret there. We didn't win a section.
Darryl Gardner.
Darryl Gardner. Then his sister Heather. I had her in phys ed class. She was on that show on MTV. I forgot what it's called. I forgot what the show was called, but she was on MTV. Yeah, we had. I'll tell you, some great people came out of Lincoln.
Yep. Darryl Gardner was. He made one of the greatest football plays I've ever seen. And then I'll never forget it. He ran down a guy who I think it was on either an interception or a fumble recovery, and everybody stood there and watched. And Darryl Gardner ran from all the way across the field and ran the guy down and tackled him at the 5-yard line and prevented him from going in for a touchdown. And he deserved to be a freshman because he was a man.
He was a freshman. They used to call him Jeter because remember Jeter from the Giants?
Sure. Gary Jeter.
He used to have a Jeter jersey, so everybody called him Jeter.
Okay.
He was unbelievable. I saw him about 3 years ago, Paul Gaughan's retirement party. Him and Tony Perkins.
Oh wow! I was a big fan of Darryl Gardner's.
Oh yeah, he was a great player.
Yep, and then he
intelligence.
And didn't he first go to Nebraska?
15 years old. Pardon?
He first went to Nebraska, right?
Yes.
Right. And then he came home and
Banks in New York City.
What does he do now?
Runs food banks.
Oh, good for him. I'm glad he's doing well. I liked him a lot. But then he went for.
Great kids up there. I don't know if you remember Latoro Yates.
Oh, sure. Went to St.
He's a PhD now. He's got a PhD and he's an administrator at I think York College.
Okay, and he had a phenomenal career at St. Peter's College. Yeah, phenomenal.
Hard hitter, smart, unbelievable. I still stay in contact with these kids.
Okay, so what was it like for you and you were the head coach at Lincoln for what, 5 years?
4 years.
4 years. All right, what was it like coaching those kids and seeing Lincoln to develop into a team that was on the cusp of you? And you made the state playoffs twice too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you won the city championship twice. You made the state playoffs twice. What was it like to be able to lead Lincoln back to prominence again and being a Hudson County power?
Well, you wrote a lot of nice things about me, and people were saying nice things about me. When you're winning, people look at you different. They look at the kids different in school, and it was nice. It was a great time in my life professionally. I love Jersey City. I love Jersey City to this day. I love Lincoln to this day. I root hard for them. I root hard. I never had any animosity towards Lincoln at all. Things that didn't end well, but I have no animosity. Whenever anything went wrong, and I'm no martyr or a hero or anything like that, believe me, I blame myself. I'm responsible for my own actions.
Jeff, are you a little disappointed that your stay at Lincoln was only 4 years long?
Absolutely, yes. I'll tell you the truth. I don't know if I would have left if we didn't have if that beef didn't happen. Okay. I don't know if I would have left there.
All right.
I really don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, you always want to go back home. You always want to go back home. The grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Right.
George DeLeon told me that from Syracuse. He goes, make this job the best job you have. Don't go looking for the next job. Okay. Good advice. George was a great advice. You know what happened.
George was a great man too. I got to know very well through him recruit. He recruited Hudson County a lot, and I got to see him at football. He just passed away, but he was a very, very good man. and very, very knowledgeable football man, and he loved Hudson County.
He used to sit with us at Carteret and wherever. He would come back after recruiting. He'd sit with us till 11, 12 o'clock at night, just excellent on the board.
Yeah.
And if you had a question about something, because I started running that Syracuse option offense, the freeze option at Carteret, and at Cedar Grove too. And if you had a question about something, I remember we scrimmaged St. Peter's Prep, and they were playing a cover two with a press, and we had trouble. And I called him up on the phone, and he called me back and told me, the adjustment to make.
Okay.
That's the kind of guy he was.
Very good man.
I loved Lincoln. I loved those kids. I loved the school. And, things happen, You know what happened.
Yep, okay. So now, you knew at that point your coaching career wasn't over. It was just beginning. What
people told me, I quit. I quit. We had the beef, and I quit. And then I got put in two grammar schools. I got transferred out. I went down to 22 school and 37 school. And I said, people were coming to me and saying, supervisor, the union president said, just let it hang just be cool for a year. You'll be back. I didn't think I'd be back in Lincoln, because I put Rocky in there, Rocky Gibbs.
Right.
Who was the DC when they won this section. And he's a very, very, very knowledgeable coach, great with the kids, a mentor. So I have nothing, Rocky and I are friends.
I love Rocky. I'm still very close to him, and he's a great man.
Rocky's a great man.
Great man.
God-fearing man.
Absolutely.
He really is. So anyway, I said, I put in for the Cedar Grove job.
Now wait, before we go further, before you move forward, Jeff, you said you were at PS 37 downtown Jersey City?
Yeah, I was there with Striner,
Marvin Striner was the principal? Was Mike Zadroga the vice principal?
Yeah.
All right, and did you know any of the teachers' aides?
Because I know Striner and Venatola were friends, and I know they put me down here as like a punishment.
Okay, but
I told Striner, don't get involved in this beef.
Yeah, but did you know any of the teachers' aides when you were at 37?
Pardon me?
Did you know any of the teachers' aides that when you were in 37?
I don't even remember that. Like I said, I used my sick days.
Oh well.
I didn't go in much.
All right. Well, my mother worked there for 21 years at 37 school. Yep.
Wow.
With Striner.
Well, he was a great baseball coach.
He's still, and he's great friend, good man.
Yeah. No, but he didn't. Like I said, I didn't go in much, and I started looking for jobs.
Okay.
I started looking for jobs, and then.
All right. So then, what's next? What job opened up, and was Cedar Grove next?
Cedar Grove was next. I stayed there 3 years. We had success there.
All right. How did you hear about that job, and how did that all come about?
The Star Ledger on Sundays.
Oh, really? Okay. So you applied for that out of the newspaper. Okay. Right. And
there was no technology, no computer or anything like that.
No.
Just put in and Eddie Stinson.
He helped you?
For me, and I got the job.
Wow. Okay. And what was it like to coach there?
Tough kids. We had success. I think I went like 23-5 over there.
Wow. In 3 years?
I had 2 playoff appearances. And I was there 3 years, and then something happened with a parent. Got a little, I didn't get tenure, put it that way.
Okay. All right. So then you left Cedar Grove, and you went right to Carteret?
Well, I thought I had the Park Ridge job up north.
Okay.
And they called me and they said, we heard something happened. It got a little physical. And it wasn't with a kid. It was with a parent. And they said, I don't think we could bring you in. So I was like, well, what am I going to do now? I just bought the house down here. And I'm going, and I put in for the Carteret job. And I was getting bad mouth from up here down at Carteret. Because Carteret never hired outside.
Never?
Never.
Wow.
They never hired outside.
Okay.
It was always Carteret guys. And Carteret was losing. They were losing then. And I remember I got a call. I was laying around here on a Saturday afternoon, beautiful day in June. Well, what am I going to son football coach. And my thing was this kind of joke. And he goes, no, we're serious. He goes, Ron DeSillo, who's the board president, wants you to come in on Monday at the superintendent's office. So I was like, whoa. So I went in there. I met this guy. He was the board president. And he said to me, you remind me of my high school coach. He goes, I don't care what happened. He goes, I don't care what anybody says about you. He goes, I can tell you, you're a winner.
Wow.
And he says to me, this is the job. He goes, you're the phys ed department head. You teach 2 classes. He goes, you'll be a head football coach. He goes, you can get a weight room salary for the summer, which I had never gotten before. And he goes, just win. Just win.
Wow, that helps.
So then I went down, I went for the first meeting. I never worked with a trainer before.
Okay.
Never worked with a trainer. Old-time Carteret guy, Joe Rivers, old-time, he was a teacher there, old-time guy, family. I'm at the stadium, waiting for the meeting to start. He comes in, I shake hands with him, he goes, did you ever work with a trainer before? I go, no, he goes, we're going to have problems. I go, oh my God, here we go. Here we go. And then,
all right, what kind of kids were you coaching in Carteret?
what kind of kids?
Yeah.
We had everything, all kinds. But I'll tell you, the first meeting, I'm going, how are these kids losing? These are some of the best looking kids I ever saw. I mean, I remember my first day in a weight room. This kid comes walking, he's 15 years old, about 6 foot, about 270, crew cut. His name is Richie Sheeran. He was an all-state player. He was a 2-time all-state player, started 4 years at Cornell. And he came up to me, shook my hand. And I went to a baseball game. He was the starting catcher. He hit the ball over dead center field over the school building.
Wow.
And then we started the weight program. Kids were coming in, and we had a pretty good preseason in scrimmage. We scrimmaged Sayreville, who was good at the time. They beat the hell out of us. But first game we beat Denellen, who was a Group 1 state champ. We were Group 2 school, beat them. And then it took off from there.
All right, and how many years did you stay at Carteret for?
7.
7. And how many state championships?
1, 2, should have won 3 or 4. Won 5 division championships there.
5 division championships and 2 state championships. That's not a bad resume, right?
No.
All right.
I met this guy there, Mike Kushner. He was a long time. He was a Carteret guy, born and bred, coached on every team since he graduated college. And him and I became great friends, like Paul and me.
Okay.
Loyal, knows he's an encyclopedia of football, guided me through. And
All right. Did you have any kids
that was a great run over there.
Did you have any kids that went on to play major college football from Carteret?
Kevin Freeman, the current head coach, played at West Virginia, 3-year starter. Sheeran, like I said, played at Cornell. I mean, he's a brilliant student. He's a long snapper. Tennessee wanted a scholarship for long snapper. And, but he was 6 foot, 270. He played middle linebacker. He played inside linebacker for us.
Okay.
At 270, we had Dennis Burney, first team All-State kid.
Sure.
Went on to play in New Haven for Tony Sperano.
Right.
Corey Jones, another running back. His kid is a quarterback at Colonia now. He went on and played at New Haven. They played on national championship teams. Eric Morgan, another kid, he went to Rutgers but left. I had great players there, Jim.
Yeah.
I had great players, great kids, weight room kids, all tough kids. This kid Nick Mazon, oh my God! I mean, these were weight room kids. I mean, they were unbelievable.
And Jeff, more importantly, Carteret is a great atmosphere for high school football. So you must have loved that because it was.
I'll tell you the truth. We were voted team of the decade in the 90s, and it wasn't like. And this isn't being arrogant because I know some of the great coaches like Harry Massey was a big mentor to me. But I know I used to talk to Harry all the time about those great Lincoln teams and Eddie Stinson and Joe Stinson. When they had those great teams, it wasn't a matter of if you were going to win, it's like how much you were going to win.
Right.
You see the fear in the opponent's eyes when they kicked in there.
Right. All right, so you stayed at Carteret for 7 years. Did you think that maybe that was the place where you were going to stay for the rest of your career? I mean, you were happy there?
So, but then what happened was, my guys got voted off the board.
Okay.
New guys came on, and these were my, these were my guys. These guys brought me in, and we just didn't hit it off politically. I didn't play that political game.
Okay.
I never did. That was a problem. I didn't like politics. I mean, and when you're in that position, you got to play. Like they say, when you play in the gutter, you're going to get dirty.
Yeah, no question.
And I played in the gutter, and then, these new people came in, they took the department head job away from me. I lost, you don't want to get your salary cut. It was never about money, but still, you're living a certain lifestyle, you're getting a certain paycheck, and it wasn't a matter of teaching classes or anything like that. It was just that, we brought the program back to prominence, and this is, the reward you're giving me.
Well, I'm sorry it ended that way.
I started looking for other jobs.
Okay. Now, did you think?
No, we're going to take care of you. I can't trust you to take care of me if you yank the carpet out from under me. And I went into the principal at the time, and I said to him, "What's going on?" He was an old-time Carteret guy. I remember he didn't want me as the coach because I know Mike Venetolo called him and said I was crazy, I was this, I was that, and he was one of the ones who were telling people on the board, "No, don't hire this guy." And I went into him, I go, "What's going on?" We were okay, it was principal and subordinate and all that. He goes, he gave me an answer. He goes, "Tell your wife work a few more days in the food bar." That didn't go over good.
Okay. All right.
That didn't go over good.
No, you can't bring your wife into the picture. There's no question.
Don't give me those smart, those wise guy answers.
Yeah, no, that's not a right way to go. All right, so.
I started looking for jobs, and Mike Rich was the AD at Plainfield, and he was calling me about the Plainfield job, and I remember I saw Lou Rutino. God bless his soul. And he said to me, he goes, he was just little Plainfield. I saw him at a Rutgers clinic. I said, "Really? You think so?" He goes, "Yeah, you have a lot of talent there. You fit in well." And I don't know, I went on the interview, and something just didn't feel right.
Okay.
Something didn't feel right.
All right. So how does Elizabeth come into the picture?
Well, I was at Irvington for 2 years.
Oh, you were at Irvington. Okay.
First year I got hurt, believe it or not.
As a head coach, you were at Irvington?
I was wheeling the video equipment back into the locker room. Pardon me, and the floor was wet. It was on a steep decline, and I fell, and my thigh came off the kneecap.
Oh, wow.
I worked 7 months, so I didn't coach that year.
Okay, but that was head coach at Irvington you were supposed to be? You were going to be the head coach at Irvington?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Next year went 5-5. We were turning it around, and then I get a call from somebody saying that Elizabeth wants you to put in for the job. She said they want the Carteret guy to put in for the job.
All right, Jeff, what was that like for? That must have been a real big. And I don't want to talk about egos, but boy, oh boy, that must have felt really good that a school as big as Elizabeth and as history as Elizabeth would want you, right?
Elizabeth was the crown jewel, I thought, at the state that time.
Yep.
But I knew they wanted. I knew I wasn't the first choice. And when they called me, a couple of guys turned it down for whatever. I guess guys were asking for the moon, and they weren't. The principal, in fact, I heard was trying to de-emphasize football.
Okay.
But he hit it off with me. He liked me, and he called me on the phone, and he said, "We'll offer you the job." And my wife, I remember we went to Lagos after that. She said, "You don't take that job." I should have listened to her. She goes,
Okay.
"Don't take that job." She goes, "Because no matter what you do, it's been done already."
Yeah, that's true.
And she goes, "If you don't do it, you're gonna look bad."
Okay.
And I should have listened to her. I went 31-10 over there.
Right.
We lost 2.
How many years? 6 years in Elizabeth? 6.
Still.
How many years in Elizabeth?
4.
4. Okay.
4. And I'll tell you what, Lincoln, when I took the field at Cave and Point, felt this is my field, this is my home. Carteret, this is my home. Lincoln and Elizabeth, no.
Really?
No.
What?
I never felt comfortable there.
Okay.
Never felt comfortable there.
Okay. Sorry to hear that.
Never felt comfortable.
All right. So 6 years at Elizabeth, and then did 4. I'm sorry. And then did you feel like you wanted? That was it. You had no more interest in coaching it at that point, right?
I got a phone call from somebody in Montclair when I left Elizabeth. Excuse me, I'm sorry about the cough.
That's okay.
They said to me, we want you to put in for the job. They said if you want it, we could guarantee the job is yours. And I said, no, I'm not interested, thank you. And that was it.
Okay.
That was it. I had no desire to do it anymore. I've been coached since 2005 was my last year.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be back to finish up with Jeff Weiner after this ad from Stan Sports Center. Stan Sports Center is your local full-service sporting goods vendor and authorized team dealer. They offer quality products and dozens of brands to outfit your team top to bottom. Stan's has proudly been supporting the local community since 1946 and is your one-stop shop for uniforms, equipment, online team stores, and so much more. Locations in Hoboken and Saddlebrook and service, and they now have a warehouse in Boonton and servicing the entire tri-state area. Visit them on the web at Stans Plural Sports Plural CTR.com. That's Stans Plural Sports Plural CTR.com, and check them out on social media for their latest creations. That's Stan Sports Center, located at 528 Washington Street in Hoboken. Telephone number there, 201-798-4466. And here's a special deal. If you go to Stan Sports Center and you say hello to my friends Danny and Lou and Todd down at Stan's, and you mention the fact that you listen to the Hudson County Sports podcast, they're going to give you 10% off on anything retail in the store. Not a bad deal, 10% off just by mentioning the Hudson County Sports podcast. So that's at Stan Sports Center, proud sponsor of the Hudson County Sports podcast, at 528 Washington Street in Hoboken. All right, we're finishing up with Jeff Weiner. And Jeff tells, you said 2005, you just said that's it, you've had enough?
Yes.
All right. Did you have any inkling at all, any offers from anybody that might have lured you back into it as maybe as an assistant coach, or no, you were done?
I'll tell you the truth, I don't know if it was ego or what, but, like I said, I coached with Johnny Lisa for 3 to 4 years. I never worked with anybody. I don't know if I could work for anybody. Like a couple guys that coach with me, they got head jobs. 1 or 2 would ask me, well, no.
All right, how much did you miss it the first couple of years?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
No, not at all. I mean, you miss the relationships with the kids. You miss the hair on your neck standing up before you take the field. You hear the drums beating through the wall in a locker room and running out on the field. You miss that.
Okay.
But I didn't miss, you're a bum, you're this, you're that. No matter what you do. When I was a car wreck, let me tell you, I could do no wrong. And then when we started winning, how come you didn't? If you won 35-6, how come you didn't win 42-0?
Yeah.
I said, I don't need this anymore. I don't need it.
All right, were you still teaching at that point, Jeff?
I was always after. We'd walk off the field and I'd worry about the next game. Never enjoyed it. I never learned how to enjoy it.
Wow, that's a shame. All right, were you still teaching at that time, though, Jeff?
Yeah, I was teaching. Yeah, I went to a grammar school. It was nice. No, I didn't miss it at all.
All right, so where were you teaching? In Elizabeth?
I was a teacher in Elizabeth.
Yeah. Okay.
I was teaching at grammar school. I don't go to many games now. I got guys that coach. They'll ask me stuff. I'll say, you know what? I can't give you anything because I'm not down there. I always looked at matchups and things like that. I don't know your personnel. I don't know the personnel of the other team. We always did it by matchups, things like that. When we would scout, I would go down by the gate, look at the other team coming out. Are they weight room kids? Are they big in the legs? Are they big in the behinds? You look at stuff like that.
All right.
You can't do that. You can't be Saturday afternoon hero giving them a play that's going to work. I never believed in that. It was never about X's and O's. It was always the Jimmies and the Joes,
Okay. All right. So how much now that you've been removed from the game now for 17 years, so it's been a while. How long do you like going to games now? I mean, has it changed different?
I don't go to games, Jimmy, to be honest with you.
You don't go to games?
mean, the last game I went to, I saw you last year. Well, I may go to a Lincoln game to see Paul's grandson.
Right.
But that's about it.
Okay.
My nephew's the starting center on the Marist Swan freshman team. Go down there. I'll go down there and see him play.
Okay.
No, to go Friday night to go to a game? No.
Just too much. Just too much. Too many memories of being a football coach.
I just don't want to do. I don't know. I just don't want to go anymore.
Okay.
You know, I just don't want to go. You know, since I retired, I'm closer to home now.
All right. So you live in Old Bridge?
Live in Old Bridge. Yeah.
All right. And let's mention your wife and your family. Your wife of how many years?
It's 39 years.
39 years. God bless. What's your wife's first name? Fran, okay.
She's own Happy Hair Beauty Salon in Jersey City. It was on Five Corners. Then she moved to the Boulevard across from St. John's Church. We lived in the St. John's Apartments at the time.
Oh, wow.
And her last stop was on Newark Avenue, right across from the courthouse, around a block from Dickinson.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then, and how many children do you have?
One.
Oh, and that's just...
34 years old. She's a special ed teacher in Elizabeth.
Okay. And what's his first name? Michael. All right. And you just mentioned to me before we came on the air that that Michael is expecting his first child, so you're going to become a grandfather.
We're going to be grandparents in February. Thank God. We just want a healthy child, healthy daughter-in-law. We're excited.
So that's got to be a blessing, right?
Without question. There's always regrets and things in your career. I regret that Donatello and me were beefed, and I take full responsibility for that.
Okay.
You don't mind me saying that?
No, not at all. Okay.
He was the boss.
Yep.
He was the boss, and I shouldn't have gotten frisky with him. I mean, he gave me some good jobs, and we were great friends. And to this day, I'm sorry that it happened.
All right. Well.
I mean, there's probably no going back. We haven't spoken since 1987.
Wow, that's a long time.
I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him. Always liked him. Liked him.
Last time I saw him was at Red Drennan's funeral. That was the last time. Yeah.
I owe him a lot in my career, like I owe Johnny Lisa, and there were some other people that meant to me, like I said, Harry Massey, Tommy Gallo, guys like that, Jimmy Piscator, they were guys I looked up to, and guys I appreciated. Bobby Mafia guided me through when I was the AD at Lincoln. After him, he guided me through, and Paul Garnes, Joe Stinson, we're great friends to this day.
Right. So
go ahead, I'm sorry.
All in all, Jeff, I mean, do you look back and say, wow, I had a pretty good career and a pretty good life, and it all began because you played ball in College Towers?
Probably, I mean, if you would have, I'm not going to give you numbers on my record or anything, that's irrelevant, but, if you would have told me 45 years ago you're going to finish up with a record like this, I would say most guys would take it,
All right, so you say you're not going to give me the record. If you know it offhand, why don't you say it?
Well, 148,
148, 48. So you were 100 games over 500?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I'm not bragging or anything.
No. Toot your own horn, pal, because I don't have records like that. That's incredible.
You coach the city kids most of your career. It comes down to football and athletics are always secondary. You got to take care of the kids.
Right.
You got to make sure the kids ate. You got to make sure the kids had money to eat, money for lunch. I didn't have a child then. They were like my sons.
Okay.
They were like my sons. I always worried about what they were doing. We didn't practice much. I would bring them in on Sundays just to know that they were still alive. To be honest with you.
Oh God.
All right. I'm serious.
But all in all, I mean, you have great memories of your coaching days, right?
Great memories from Lincoln. Great memories from Carteret. I love those. I love most of the kids I coached. Really, I'd say 99% of them.
Okay.
My beefs weren't with kids or anything. My beefs were always with I guess you call them the powers that be.
That's all right. And then and
this might have been sorry.
that's all right. And then here's my last question for you. And even though you had other stops around the state of New Jersey, you've always been a Jersey City kid at heart. Is that correct?
I bled black and orange, and I bleed blue and white.
Right, but when you tell people where you're from, the first thing that's got to come out of your mouth is I'm from Jersey City, right?
Jersey City. I love going up there. Love going to Lakos. Love going to the hot dog stand at North Street Park. Nothing like it.
Okay.
Love it.
Great.
Love it.
All right. So how grateful are you to be able to have the career that you had, coaching and teaching and doing all the things that you did?
I'm grateful. Believe me, I'm real grateful. But my problem is I'm my own worst enemy. And I think about not about how fortunate I was, but how I should have done more.
Yeah. Well, you did very well for 148 wins and 48 losses. That's 100 wins over 500. That's a remarkable record. And
You've always been fair to me. You've always been nice to me. You and I never had any cross words. I really enjoyed talking to you over the years. I consider you a friend.
I
really do. I thought you were a great writer. Forget about what you said about me. You always to the point. You had a flair. You have a flair for it.
Thank you, Jeff.
That is fact.
That means a lot, and the feeling is mutual, obviously.
I appreciate that. I know that.
I always look forward to seeing you and seeing your teams play. There's no question.
I appreciate that. If you talk to Carl, tell him I said hello. He did a lot for my son when my son broke his ankle.
Will do. I will. He's right now this week. He's in California. As his daughter Carla they're planning. Carla's getting married on Saturday, so that's where he is. But when he comes back, I'll make sure I tell him that you said hello.
Jimmy, was good talking to you. I really appreciate
Same here, Jeff. Thank you very.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you very much for your time, Jeff. I appreciate it. We'll keep in touch, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Okay, take care, buddy.
You too.
All right, that was my special guest, Jeff Weiner from Jersey City, who was a longtime teacher and coach in Jersey City, became the head football coach at Lincoln, and had a great career there, and then moved on to other places like Cedar Grove and Carteret and Elizabeth in his stops. Irvington as well. So Jeff Weiner had a great coaching career. My special thanks to my executive producer, Johnny Haig, my great nephew. Without him, it would not be a thing as the Hudson County Sports Podcast. And again, my thanks to my sponsors, Strulowitz and Gargiulo, Boro Physical Therapy, and Stan Sports Center. Without them, there would not be a podcast, Hudson County Sports Podcast either as well. So thank you very much for listening to this week's episode, and have a pleasant week, and we will talk to you soon. Take care now.